evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Gen 6 series here at Texas Motor Speedway for our season opener. Should be an exciting race for us this evening. 100 laps here at Texas Motor Speedway, and looks like we got us a decent-sized crowd out here for our season opener. So we'll go ahead and we will start from the top. We'll go down your starting lineup. Starting first is the 777 of Michael Pegg, and to his outside in second place will be the 429 of Paul Witt. Starting in third place, we have the 4 of Larry Eddy, and in fourth, we have the 23 of Ray Zerkut. Starting fifth, we have the 140 of Jim Featherstone, and in sixth, we have the 44 of Jacob Edson. Starting in seventh, we have the 24 of Jason Adams. And in eighth, we have the 19 of Ben Gear. Starting in ninth is the 9 of John Held. And in 10th to his outside is the 43 of Sandy Curtis. Starting behind them in 11th place is the 92 of Shane Bowie. And to his outside in 12th place, the 71 of Dirty Don. Starting 13th, we have the 59 of Ralph Blair. And in 14th, we have the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. Starting in 15th, we have the 21 of Terry Duguay, and starting in 16th, we have the 00 of Thomas Holder. Starting in 17th, we have the 89 of Randolph Richard, and in 18th, we have the 6 of Brian Pierce. Our league admin, nice to see him back out here running with us. He skipped a couple seasons there to do more stuff on the back end, but always nice to see him back out on the track. And behind him in 19th, the 91 of Joel Guy, and in 20th, we have the 58 of Chris Hogue. That is your field. It is set. We will be going green. Only one parade lap for these drivers here at Texas Motor Speedway. If we are at a place like Bristol or Martinsville, it's 2 laps there, but on these larger tracks, more than enough time for these guys to get them lined 2 by 2 as they go down the backstretch. A lot of really good-looking cars tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. So a little bit of, I guess, a bit of a discussion here. Here at Lucky Dog, our seasons are 12 races long with 2 drop races, so these drivers' 2 worst finishes will be deducted from their total points total, and some of these guys really do their best to try and figure out the math on that system. Sometimes it bites them, sometimes it doesn't. Michael Pegg leads them here to the Geico restart zone for the first time. Green flag is out. Paul Witt sitting about a car length back on Michael Pegg before that green flag came out. Did not get the best of starts. He was side by side with the 4 as they head into turn 1. Michael Pegg already out, clear, and away. He's going to go for the score. The score 29 side by side. It's in his best interest that these guys are wearing out their tires lap after lap after lap. Paul Witt not able to clear the 4 as they make it out the backstretch, trying to get the grab from 777, was not able to clear him. Looks like he was able to get the 4 just for a little bit there. He clears him there, coming off of turn 4, going through the broad oval. So Paul Witt up into second place. That 4 gave a good fight through turns 1 and 2. He's right back at it. Slide there to the outside. Oh, look at the 19 up in the wall. Paul with the 43. Caution is out. Another thing that is good to remind everyone, these guys all have 2 faster pairs, so if there is terminal damage on that 19, he will be able to come back down pit road and get himself a new car. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at that. What happened? Not entirely certain. That happened in the middle of turns 1 and 2. They get in there pretty good. 43 is Sandy Curtis. Man, he just fired it there into turn 1. Looks like these 2 guys just sort of ran out of room there a little bit. We'll go ahead and we'll watch from our friend the chopper cam here. They head on down in there. At 19. Taking the line that you're supposed to through there, up there towards the top. I mean, it definitely looks like he comes down the track just a little bit. 43's in there, gets his nose in there. I'd say that's pretty tough to call. 43 took him 3 wide. The 19 maybe came down the track just a little bit. But that hit got them both all out of sorts. And that just carried the 43 up into the wall with the 19. Tough break for both of these guys, both of them with damage. Here they come down pit road, so they'll be going ahead and getting their repairs. If I had to guess, both these guys, definitely the 43, there was a lot of damage on that 43 car. If anything, I would expect Sandy here to have taken a fast repair. Just go ahead and pull out that first backup car. Just be able to get back out there running. $19, I do believe, still in pit road, so looks like maybe he's taken some optional repairs there. Maybe doesn't have as much damage as it looked like maybe he had. 777 of Michael Pegg here coming around the track here. I do believe this would be turns 3 and 4. And so that's something the 19's going to have to look out for. Doesn't want to go a lap down as he is able to get down and away. He's exiting here through turn 2. So that should keep the 19 on the lead lap. Not much changed in your top 5. Michael Pegg is still first, 429. Paul Witt still second. The 4 of Larry Eddy. Still in third, Mr. Ray Zercut there in that 23. He is still fourth, and fifth at the 44 of Jacob Edson. That is a very nice looking Toyota right there. None of these guys really have an opportunity to stretch their legs so far. This race we will have comers and goers. And we'll definitely see that the longer these, the longer these runs go, the long green flag runs really what separates a lot of folks here at Lucky Dog, and that's pretty much the name of the game, the goal of the race every time, is to go as long as we can under green. I say that as we had a caution on lap 2, but these things happen. First race of a new season, everyone's trying to get every little bit that they can. Some folks here race for fun, so folks here to race to win, some folks just here to race for fun. Everyone's out here racing for something. And so long as they have a good time, I think we're all having a good time out here. Lights out on the pace car. We will be going green the next time by. I do believe during the recruitment races we were playing a little bit with the fuel amount in these vehicles. Now in the recruitment races for the trucks and the Gen 6s, we were playing with about 80% fuel, and what that's going to do is that's going to force these guys into a position where more than likely they're going to have to stop twice to make it to the end. I believe that these guys won't be able to think about pit road any earlier. I'm not certain about any earlier, but these guys definitely going to be thinking about pit road probably around 20, about lap 20. I think if I remember the numbers correct, it's about 37 to 41 laps of fuel is what I was seeing when we were doing the testing. Unfortunately, I was not able to log into the server to run my test laps this evening. My computer is down, and I'm on the loaner. So I'm a little unsure as to the fuel numbers here, but I bet, if this caution had come out a little later, we'd have seen a whole bunch of people hit pit road to try and make the rest of the race in one stop. But as things stand, everyone still has stopped twice. Michael Pegg leads him to the green flag. It's back out. Much better start for Mr. Paul Witt. Already got a nose ahead of that 429, but we know all about Texas. That bottom lane going to turns 1 and 2, that's where you want to be. Paul tries to pinch him down. Cannot keep him alongside around the outside. He's got before Larry Eddy to his inside. Larry firing back there on the bottom. Good push there for the 44. Paul Witt did not get the run that he did off that initial start. He's going to have a good run here going down the quad oval, but I don't think he's going to be able to clear the horn before they make it to turns 1 and 2. It'll be close. 4 is able to keep it right there at his quarter panel up to the door. They just send it off here to turns 1 and 2. These guys absolutely fighting tooth and nail for that second spot. It looked like the 24 may have had a little bit of almost out the wall there. Everything looks all right. 9 finally clears the 4. Larry Eddy falls back in line, and he sets his sights on that 777 of Michael Pegg. These two guys right here, Michael Pegg, Paul Witt, these two guys both know the value of green flag running here up front. The worst place you can be is the third, fourth, fifth car in line dealing with all the dirty air from these guys. Want to be the one out front. They don't want to be stuck back there with the rest of the pack. They want to get out ahead and this race. This is where I say, some folks racing for fun, some folks racing for points. Lucky Dog has a bonus point for every driver who leads a lap, has a bonus point for the driver who leads the most laps, bonus point for your pole. Your pole winner has a has a bonus point for completing the lap with no incidents. So Paul Witt here, what he's looking to do is he's trying to get that run, get past that 777, because the more laps that 777 leads, the harder it's going to be for that 429 to get that bonus point for leading the most laps. I mean, heck, you probably just settle for getting the bonus point for leading a lap. Unfortunately, you can always get that by leading just the last one, but you want to be able to get out ahead early, especially with how these cars race. It's so easy. It can be so easy for the driver ahead to keep the driver behind, just stuck there, just having them deal with that big, almost imposing, almost impenetrable, just wall of dirty air. 24, Jason Adams, he's making it work there around the outside as he's working there on the 4 of Larry Eddy. Outside's definitely a place you can make work here at Texas. You can make it work in a lot of tracks, but at Texas more so than other tracks, it's going to really eat up those tires faster than most places, especially running through turns 1 and 2. Saw Jason Adams really sending it right there around the outside. He was able to pass the 4 pretty convincingly as he sets to work on the 23 here. He's able to get to the bottom gray. They'll be side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Now Ray's going to get that momentum run coming off the corner. It's looking like he's lifted a little bit, letting that 24 go. It's like, all right, well, if you want to go by, go by. You burn up your tires, it'll just mean that I'll have something for you later. And that seems to be, if I had to guess, what Ray's doing. Just let the 24 go. Jason is really pushing fairly hard here in the early going. Speaking of people who are pushing, making moves, the 44 Jacob Ensign has been in 5th pretty much this entire time. He is just taking it easy as he makes his way around the 4 Larry Eddy. Larry going in the wrong direction. Wonder if all that racing that he had to do really tore up those tires. You see him running about a lane up off the bottom. He's not able to get down there. He is flirting with that wall coming out of turn 2. That 4 car has got some speed. Unfortunately, right now he's either going in the wrong way or he might be doing what we see John Held do in that 9 car right behind him. John gets up as far as he can, then he just sort of backs off, lets everyone wear their stuff out, and tries to make a late race charge. Could be 4 Larry Eddy's doing something very similar. 4 Larry Eddy gets in the wall. Hit that pretty hard. 9 of John Held going for that pass there on the bottom, able to get by him. Looks like he's bringing the 89 that he's got with him. I believe that's the 89. Randolph Richards going to bring him through behind him. Larry losing 2 spots, and one turn off that turn 2 exit mistake. Like we were saying, thinking that maybe what that 4 was doing is falling back, just saving tires. What he also might be doing is trying to save fuel, see if he can get it to one stop. I don't know that necessarily he can. So you go back to the front of Jason Adams. Managed to get to the inside of the 429 of Paul Witt, and they're bringing the 44 with them. So that is someone that everyone up here at the front's always keeping their eye on. That 44 of Jacob Edson. That guy gets faster and faster and faster every season. When I joined Lucky Dog, he and I were mid-pack drivers. Oh, 429 looking at the blink there. Hopefully his internet's okay. We don't see too much more of that. Like I was saying, Jacob Edson, when I joined Lucky Dog, you know, he and I were both mid-pack drivers, and then the very next season we ran, he was outrunning just about everybody. He had something figured out about these cars and that update that he was just beating the pants off of everyone. Here he is, 3 Toyotas in the field, 777 Michael Pegg, 429 Paul Witt, and the 44 of Jacob Edson. These guys are looking to set sail. 24 of Jason Adams got right up there side by side with Paul Witt, was not able to hold it there. Now he's fallen back into the clutches of Ray Zercut and John Held. He's got 4 very hungry cars all running behind him. The 89 of Randolph Bridgman, 4 of Larry Eddy, all eyeballing that 4th spot. Currently, 4 cars, yep, 4 cars battling for the 5th position back here. That 24, Jason Adams, doing everything he can to get away from it. He does not want to have to deal with that many cars at one time. John Held, Ray Zercut, I mean, they are, John and Ray just racing side by side by side. I'll say this is probably about the 3rd, 4th lap in a row these guys are side by side. It's only lap 21. These guys are racing this hard. And now we should be, if I remember the fuel numbers correctly, we should be inside everyone's pit window. I do believe anyone can pit from here and make it to the end on one stop, depending on how smart they drive this car. And obviously you don't want to overdrive the car, really wear out those tires. That's something that Michael Pegg up here in the front, he doesn't have to worry about. We'll go ahead and look at his gearbox now. Second and third racing side by side. A little bit further back, they're trying to get into the file, but Michael Pegg absolutely loves what he's seeing on that rear view mirror. He doesn't have to worry about anything. As long as these guys cannot complete this pass, they're just going to burn their stuff up. Now, what that's going to enable Michael to do, he'll be able to pit essentially whenever he wants, force the entire field to react to pit what he's doing. It's 429 of Paul Witt able to finally solidify that second spot for Jacob Edson right along the gearbox cam here with Paul Witt. You see that 44, he may have fallen back. That just means he's setting up for another attempt to see if he can get that pass done. You've got to get these passes done here in Texas as fast as you can. You cannot be stuck side by side with someone like Paul Witt, lap over lap over lap. There is not enough tire life in these cars to make that work. And I know that seems to be the thing we talk about the most, but here in these mixed setup races, especially if you're going to be running the iRacing default setup, the single most important thing is tire management. And that's something that drivers like Gary Sapinski, Paul Witt, Michael Pegg, Jacob Edson, John Held, these guys are masters of. That is what they do. They know how to take a car that should only run about 30 laps on a single set of tires. They'll make it run 45, and they'll make it run 45 at speed. So we see Jacob Edson goes back to work on Paul Witt down there along the bottom. You see Paul right there, almost dead even with him as they go through turns 1 and 2. He's going to have that super run coming down that backstretch. That's going to keep him alongside. Won't be enough for him to clear the 44. Did you see that 9 of John Held? He was thinking about diving it in there, making it 3 wide, thought better of it. He's just keeping it there along the bottom, following the 44. He's not really pushing things too hard. 429 gets back out ahead. Looks like Paul maybe expecting a dive bomb from Jacob Edson. He's right up there at the top of that middle lane. It's about as high up as you want to run. Any higher and you're risking really drilling that wall on corner exit. Paul did not get the sort of separation he was looking for there on Jacob. We've already seen it. Jacob already came back from about 3/4 tenths, was right back on Paul Witt within a lap. And it looks like what Paul is doing is he's really experimenting with that higher line. He sees the runs and he's getting out of the corner. Oh, that's going to be close. 44 had to check up. Looked like maybe he was plowing. He's going to hit the 429. Had to check up. 9 almost hit the 44. Was able to get past Jacobs. That's going to put that tied Ford Mustang right there in that third place. John Held now keeping one eye out front, one eye out rear. He's got that 44 right behind him. Jacob Edson probably kicking himself for that. Looking to make up that third place back. Again, we say Michael Pegg is just loving this. So he wish they probably stayed side by side a little bit longer. Our top 4 have single filed out. Just about the entire field has single filed out at this point. I think it's a little bit early to be thinking about it. I was going to do a through the field thing, but I want to say that unless they bump the field numbers up, and I don't know if they did, we may be looking at pit stops here within the next 3 laps. And I know that our through the field time, 9 of John Held has closed in the gap off the 49 of Paul Witt. John looking to create that second position. Paul's getting some really good runs, but they don't seem to be really good enough for him to break away from the guys behind. He is just firing it off into turns 1 and 2. It's going to be the same deal with John Held as he had with Jacob Edson. They're going to be side by side going into turns 3 and 4. He's just barely clear and getting himself down to the bottom of the track. On that second spot. It's a lot of work that Paul Witt is doing. I do believe John Held was able to get right back to his inside. They're going through turns 3 and 4. Paul Witt all the way up the track. I don't think you can get much higher. Looks like he's going to go ahead. He loses the position of both John Held and Jacob Edson. Looked like he was going to try to go to the bottom. Thought they were going to fight for it a little bit. He dived down here to the bottom of the track. I'd almost be willing to bet this man is thinking about pit road soon. He let both of them go. And by letting them go, he doesn't have to worry about them seeing him pit. He can go ahead, drop down pit road behind them. Try and make up those positions on pit road. Take advantage of those fresh tires for 1 lap. Now all these guys currently a little over a half second. Paul Witt a second back. Jacob Edson a little less than a second back. John Held half a second back. All these guys here are sitting back just that little bit. And there he goes. What we were talking about, 429, Paul Witt, he hits pit road on lap 33, coming to lap 34. So he's going to be taking 4 tires and fuel. I'd be willing to bet they do. What we were talking about earlier, they do not have enough gas to make it halfway. Otherwise, there'd be no reason for him to come down pit road this early. Michael Pegg is still out. He's going to have seen that the 429 came down pit road. He knows he can't let that 429 go too much longer on fresh tires. Michael Pegg opting to stay out. And we've seen this pay off before. Someone stay out on old tires in that first run. Maybe even that second run, stay out a little bit longer than the folks behind him. And it just really pays off in the long run. They end up coming home with the win. So we'll see if this is indeed the play. 429 of Paul Witt, he just came off pit road. He's coming around turn 2 here. So he'll be merging into this. I mean, for him, it'll be much slower traffic. He's got the 91 and the 19 bearing down on him. He's able to just get up to speed going here into turn 1. They look like they're trying to split him 3 wide. Not quite. Joel Guy lets off, lets Paul Witt go. Ben Gear caught in a really awkward position up there on the high side. That's a very aggressive block, I'd say, from the 429. But you got to know why he did it. He does not want to give up track position, time, this 777 right here. Michael Pegg still out. He chooses to stay out. Number 9 of John Held in hot pursuit. He's managed to cut that lead from 0.7 of a second down to half a second. John Held making some very good time. Michael Pegg giving him good pull down both straightaways, and that's probably what's doing most of the work here, is just that draft John Held's able to get into. And that 44, Jacob Edson, he's doing what he can. He's only about a second back, so he's nowhere near out of this. All three of these guys doing everything they can to make up some time. I mean, they're not going to be running as long on older tires later in the run by doing what they're doing. But you got to wonder, are these guys going to want to pit before the leader? Are they going to want to pit after the leader? Don't know, not entirely certain. Michael Pegg on lap 38, coming to lap 39, he's still staying out. So he's probably banking on the proper call being to stay out there longer so that you have fresher tires, I suppose, for longer later. Perhaps he won't have to run quite as long later in the run. That 429 of Paul Witt, though, we see these guys going in turn 3. Paul here exiting turn 2. He is coming with a vengeance. He is pushing as hard as he can while taking care of his vehicle. And that is a very tight rope to walk, doing everything he can to get back up there as he's looking to go ahead and pass. I do believe that's the 92 of Shane Bowie. So he's already working his way past 7th place on the lead lap. Shane 7 seconds back from Michael Pegg. That's where Paul is. He can see Michael from here. The little glimpses on the backstretch. As we come to lap 41, all of these drivers here in our top 3 just doing everything they can to save these cars. 44 was able to get past the 9 of John Held while we were looking at what that 429 was doing. He was the first person to come down pit road. What that'll effectively do is he will be your leader. How long and how, he's been out on fresh tires and how fast he's been able to go. On lap 42 for these guys, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look out the gearbox cam for John Held. You can see no one out back. I'd be willing to bet everyone coming down pit road. 89 of Randolph Richard, he's still out. The 52, Gary Whitmer Sr., he just hit pit road. 58 of Chris Hogue, I do believe he hit pit road. 6, he's showing a lap down. He hit pit road. 24, Jason Adams. All these guys came down pit road, 4 tires and fuel. Paul Witt still scored your first car a lap down. 7 of Michael Pegg still out there making everything work that he can. He's doing a fantastic job keeping it out there. He knows that these faster cars on fresh tires are coming. He's not really worried about them. He's worried about this guy, 44, Jacob Edson. This guy right here was a second back. He was where John Held is now. He got past John Held. He's up here into the 2nd position. He's only 0.2 off your leader. He is tracking Michael Pegg down. And now Michael's got to be concerned. When does he come down pit road? He comes down pit road with Jacob Edson. Jacob is going to... That'll pretty much give Jacob every advantage in the book. This is now lap 45 for both of these guys on this run. 45 laps run, 45 laps led by Michael Pegg. He is able to lead 51 laps tonight. That will guarantee he gets most laps led. With how he's doing it, it looks like he will be able to do that for sure. This is interesting strategy he's running with how far he's run, how long he's run. He's already run halfway into Paul Witt's next pit cycle. Paul came down pit road on lap 33, coming to lap 34. It's lap 46 now. So that's 12, 13 laps. So almost halfway. It's pretty close. So you see him right there. He caught him. Paul Witt coming through, gets to the inside of Jacob Edson. He sets his sights on getting past that 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael Pegg gives him that bottom lane, lets him go. Paul Witt unlaps himself the hard way. That'll go ahead. If we have a caution, that will give the lead, not the lead, that will give the lucky dog to the 24 of Jason Adams. This is currently the race for the lucky dog between Jason Adams here in 13th and the 6 of Brian Pierce in 14th. A fair distance separates these two guys. Michael Pegg down pit road. Look who he brought with him, 44, Jacob Edson. And now you are pretty much just smack dab halfway into this man's pit cycle, Paul Witt. He was able to unlap himself. So he was a track and a half back, drove up past these guys. He's going to be thinking about pitting here probably in about 18 laps. That would be my guess. So he gets around through turns 1 and 2. He's got clear track out ahead of him. This is probably the best his car has felt all night. All that clean air probably feels fantastic. Got the leader John Held behind him. John here coming through turns 3 and 4. He's got to be thinking about pit road here pretty soon. Now, interesting thing, I've said if Michael Pegg leads 51 laps, that guarantees him most laps led. Here's the thing, if John Held is the leader the next time by, I don't think anyone could beat the number of laps 777 has led, so I'm going to go ahead and save extra point there. Michael Pegg here, the 9 is, I thought he was slow though. Now this is interesting. Does he have enough fuel? He was saving. And he was, I mean, for a little bit, he's running up front. I don't believe under that last caution, under that one caution we had, he may have come down pit road and topped off. I didn't notice. But if he's got enough fuel to make it to lap 54, another 2 laps. I mean, we saw how far Michael Pegg was able to push that tank. If he can make it to lap 54. His next stop might be his last, whereas everyone else, I mean, everyone is in the boat where they have to pit one last time. Everyone is so far back behind him. In 4th place, Joel Guy, the number 91, as he comes, 9 comes down pit road. Joel Guy's 14 seconds back. Be interesting to see how this plays out. If he can run 48 laps, 47. No, 48. If he can run 48 laps, he might be able to do this on just one stop. 89 of Randolph Richard, now your leader. Should be a bonus point for Randolph. As he comes down pit road, 92 of Shane Bowie. Still out. Shane, I do believe, did pit on that first caution we had. So he may be thinking about if he can stretch it the rest of the way. Not entirely certain. 91 of Joel Guy's able to get past Randolph into that 2nd position. He works his way around the track. I do believe the 91 did also pit on that first, on that caution as well. This is about what we were talking about. If he can pit somewhere in here, he can make it to the end. This man, though, Paul Witt, Shane Bowie comes down pit road. Joe Guy assumes the lead. This man right here is pushing for all he's worth. Right now, he'll be thinking about pit road here probably about the next 11 laps, would be my guess. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this shakes out, because he's 4 seconds back from our leader. And I don't know necessarily what he wants to hear, but I think that 777's getting closer. I think he's getting a lot closer. I don't know how much closer he's going to get to Paul Whitt before Paul eventually comes down pit road. I know Paul definitely hoping that he can get up there to that 91 of Joel Guy, get that lap led, and get down pit road before Michael Pegg passes him. If he's able to do that, then he may have won him this race. We don't know. We're not going to know. Looks like that 21 car there. I do believe that is. Yep, Terry here there to the inside. 91 hits pit road, so that'll give the lead to the 429 of Paul Whitt. Paul finally gets that lap led. He's still racing side by side with the 21. You want to talk about what he didn't want? That. He did not want to be racing side by side with anyone. Terry here currently showing 29 laps down. Must have had a problem. You can almost bet this car's got fresh tires. That's why Paul was having the issue that he was, but all that side by side. Remember, he was 6, 7 seconds ahead of Michael Pegg. He is only 3.5 seconds ahead now. He still has at least 8 laps to go before he comes down pit road. How long is that lead going to hold out? So we go ahead and we take a look at our gearbox. You can see that black dot right there in the back going into the entrance of turn 3 right now. That's what he's worried about. That's that 7 of Michael Pegg. This car is fast. It has shown that it has been the fastest car all night so far. No one's really been able to challenge him for first place. The only reason anyone else has any laps led is because this man had to put gas in the car. He cuts that lead down to less than 2.5 seconds. Just as we started talking about it, that 429 may have pushed it just a little bit too hard there on that run, trying to catch up. He's still got 6 laps to go. When that 777 catches the 429 probably going to go ahead and try and blow him up as much as he can. That's going to be a tall order. Michael Pegg has tires so much fresher than this 429 towards the end of a run. Michael Pegg, we saw that run that he had. He ran over 45 laps on his run. I mean, that car's got what? Well, 14 lap old tires. Paul Whitt, though. So he comes down pit road early. That is not what I expected to see from the 429. He comes down pit road on lap 60, coming to 61. This will be his final stop. Gives the lead back to the 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael coming around. Should put the 429 a lap down. So Jack is down and he is away. You want to talk about bold strategies, this is a big one. Paul Whitt doesn't need to run that much faster than Michael Pegg. All he needs to do is take care of this car. He doesn't need to really fight too hard. Stay that first car a lap down, and when that 777 comes down pit road, he gets his pit, not his pit, he gets his lap back. We were talking about how if he came down pit road with the 44, it'd give the 44 all the advantage in the world. 2 seconds back almost, the 44 of Jacob Edson. This guy is doing what he can to try and track down that 777. He seems to have hit about a brick wall. That Michael Pegg is not getting much closer. In fact, he's getting further away, 1.9 seconds now. As we take a look back a little bit further to our third place car, John Held, currently running in third. Like we mentioned, he's not 8.5 seconds back. 429 Paul Whitt passes him. He's continuing to doing his best to make moves. 58 looked like he had a little bit of an issue there. Wonder if that car is just not handling well. Is he thinking about pitting? He is. Dives it down from the third lane. He just is like, I got to get down pit road. This thing ain't handling right. Oh, gets a little squirrely. Woes it up. Good heads-up driving by the 58 of Chris Hogue, able to get down pit road in one piece. That thing definitely looked like it was a handful, almost like something was broken on that car. Brings it into his pit box. He'll be taking his service. Check back into the 24, Jason Adams. Now, he looks like he's catching the 9 of John Held. Jason Adams here running in the 4th position. He's had a pretty good run all night long. Started outside the top 5. Now if I remember correctly, he has been solidly in the top 5. Currently, the next closest car for position behind him, named Curtis, he's 2 seconds back in 5th place. Trying to track him down. That Cheers machine doing what it can, making time. Check back in again with your 2nd place driver, Jacob Edson. Jacob here now 2.1 seconds back. He's going the wrong way. I'm not certain if maybe he had an issue on pit road or what happened there, but he's been slowly fading back. So keep an eye on that as we continue. We'll check in on our lucky dog car, Paul Witt, here as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2. He's doing everything he can to catch up with these guys. Like we said, if he takes care of his car, though, he'll be all right. He's still flat-footed going through turns 3 and 4. You can hear the sound those tires make. They do not like that at all. Go ahead and ride along with your leader, Michael Pegg. That second bit of our ride along there with the 44 of Jake Bedson. Got the 429 of Paul Witt. 429 of Paul Witt passing him back there on the bottom, trying to do what he can to get his lap back here under green, make up as much time now as he can. The less time these guys have to make up on him under green, he's probably thinking the better. We went ahead and we did that second that second stint right along there with the 44 of Jacob Edson. You could hear the difference in how these two guys, about him and how Michael Pegg are running these corners. You hear, Michael Pegg really working that throttle going through turns 1 and 2. Maybe not working it so much, feathering it just a little bit. Gets off the throttle, rolls turns 1 and 2 for quite a while, feathers it for a little bit, then gets back in it. So 44 just kind of rolls the corner. waits for the car to settle, and gets right back in the throttle on the corner exit. But we're also hearing him lift going into turn 3. If you're lifting going into turn 3, that probably means you do not have the best right front tire at this point. So he may have pushed that car just a little bit harder than he wanted to. 21 of Terry Duguay keeping it there, down on the bottom, out of the way of Michael Pegg. He recognized Michael's the leader, just lets him go. So that's some good, respectful driving there. We always like to mention that and appreciate that when we see it. Now this race is starting to heat up right here. Paul Witt has successfully unlapped himself under green again. How long does the 777 stay out now? He already knows if he comes down pit road, he'll have tires about 17 laps fresher. He might not have the time to catch the 429 of Paul Witt. Paul's maybe banking on that 777 staying out too long to be able to catch him. Not certain how this will play out. I mean, we've mentioned it before. Pitting is like playing the lottery. You never know if you got the winning numbers until they call them. You never know if you made the winning pit strategy here until that checkered flag waves. A lot of these guys, though, they made their strategy call. They're sticking to it. Some folks further back, though, I mean, looking how far back the 9 of John Held is, it's sort of one of those, you see these guys getting further and further away, you got to wonder if maybe the best call is to call an audible. Just bring it down pit road early. Make up that position on pit road if you can. You know, take advantage of those fresh tires. Push that car as hard as it'll go, as long as it'll go. Try and build that gap between yourself and the guys ahead of you. Try and make them the guys behind you. John Held, though, stuck almost 6 seconds back here. Currently 5.7. Jacob Edson, though, at 44, he's starting to make up time. He's 1.4 back from Michael Pegg. He was over 2 seconds. Gotta wonder, did that 777 have an issue? I don't think he did. Hitting the wall just about any track is a rarity for Michael Pegg. Maybe just had a slow set of corners. Or it might be that the 44 is smelling blood in the water. Like, I've waited long enough. It's time for me to go. And that wouldn't surprise me if that's what he's doing. He made up another 1/10 of a second there going through turns 1 and 2. Dropped it a little bit. So I guess he's rolling into turns 1 and 2. Turn 1 faster than the 777 is. And the 777's getting a better drive off. But there he goes ahead. He claws that 10th back. Going through 3 and 4. He's definitely doing something different because Michael Pegg is going the wrong way. He is getting closer to this 44 instead of further away. This will be an excellent question now that he can tell that he's faster than Michael. When do they do pit road? He lost another 10th, only 1.2 seconds back. Now this is another question maybe we need to consider. Is Michael Pegg saving? Does he think he can make it to the end? We did a ride along with him, and it didn't sound like a guy who was saving much. I mean, he didn't hit the clutch one time in the 2 laps we were with him. So I don't think he's saving. I don't think he can make the end of this race. here at the bumper, the 19 of Ben Gear. Ben currently being scored our last car on the lead lap. Trying to stay out ahead of the 777 of Michael Pegg. He's given a good tow to Michael. Really helping him get down the straightaways with a little bit extra speed. That 44, he keeps getting closer. Only a second back now. So go ahead and we'll ride a couple laps with the 44. That's certainly unexpected, and that's going to force anyone to come down pit road. That'll do it. 777 of Michael Pegg tagged the wall there. 44, Jacob Edson's able to get by. Jacob here knew he was faster. We were seeing him just send it. I think we heard him turn it off at one point, going through turns 1 and 2. But he absolutely just... Michael Pegg was pushing it way too close, hit the wall coming out of turn 2. Jacob Edson not holding up. He's not waiting for anybody. I wonder, was he saving? Can he make it from here? If he can make it from here, that'll be a hell of a play. Can Michael Pegg make it from here? They only have to go another 10 laps. Number 29 of Paul Witt. He was that first guy to come down pit road. 23 seconds back. He's making progress, closing the gap, but 10 laps unless these guys pit. That's his race. I'm thinking, looking at this, they might be able to make it from here. You can tell that 777 is moving. That brush with the wall did him no favors. I mean, the 44 was already catching him. Looks like he's staying out. I think Michael Pegg was able to save the fuel that he needed to make it to the end. At least with the way this car is running. Now what was just a few laps ago a 1 second deficit Jacob Edson had to Michael Pegg, he's now up a second on Michael Pegg. Our third place driver, John Held, he's been able to make up some time, 0.3 of a second on these guys. Not certain that he's going to have the time to be able to get this car up into the, up any further. Makes his way past the 19 of Ben Gear. This appears to be the biggest battle on the track currently. The 4 of Larry Eddy currently fighting with the 59 of Ralph Blair and the the 89 of Randolph Richard here for that 4th position. That 4 is stuck to the outside with that 89. 89 falls in the line. These guys looking to make up that time and points deficit. They got the lap down car of 91 and Joel Guy, who is just fast enough. He's really making it difficult for these guys to get by. Before dives that 59 low, try and slide up. Not going to be able to make it. That 59 will get that run off the top. 4 had to let out of it a little bit. Oh, got a little bit of a bump from the 89. Got Larry Swirly going through down the backstretch. Randolph Richard looking to try and capitalize. He's got to the inside there of the 4. That 4's going to be running that top lane. We know how good the runs are from that top lane. Randolph Richard is not going to be able to do Larry Eddy. He's side by side. Larry almost hit the wall. Had to get out of it a little bit. That's going to be side by side with Randolph here. And that'll give Randolph full advantage going here through turns 3 and 4. That Larry will get a good run here off the top. Looks like Randolph had to really get out of it to avoid sliding up into Larry as they go back into turns 1 and 2. These guys currently battling for that 5th position. This Ralph Blair does his best to try and check out and move away from these guys. Saw the 91 Joel Guy looked like he got really close too. He didn't tag the wall. Everyone keeps it pointed in the right direction. It is the last lap gear. Jacob Edson comes home your winner. 777 of Michael Pegg brings it home in second. It'll be the 9 of John Held in third. Ralph Blair able to bring it home in fourth. Larry Eddy is able to hold off Randolph Richard to secure that 5th place finish. That is your top 5. As we go here to the front, 44 of Jacob Edson doing his burnouts. We're going to do our best to grab our top 3 for interviews. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with our 3rd place finisher here, the number 9 of John Held. John, this is William in the booth. You got me?
Hey, you got you, William.
Hey, John, fantastic run here this evening. I mean, if I remember the starting lineup, you started pretty deep in the field, brought it home third. Go ahead and walk us through your race here. I mean, you were pretty quiet all night, but brought it
Yeah,
home in a really great position.
yeah. That first segment, I just sort of took my time and made my way up. Oh, I think I got up into third, but I kind of noticed Jacob and Michael in those last, I don't know, 5 laps of that before the pit stops. They were better than I am, so I ran it a little bit longer, maybe too long, and that got them a little gap on me. I couldn't make it up at the second half there.
I mean, they did appear definitely for that second half that they had sort of checked out, but they were, those two still had to fight pretty hard, between themselves to get up there. I was surprised at how good a time they were making, but you were catching them there at the end, if I was looking at the relative correctly.
Yeah, I was catching them to about, maybe 15 laps to go. Then kind of leveled out a bit. And I think I was catching Michael a little bit right near the end there. But yeah, Jake would checked out. Yeah, I was hoping they were going to race a little harder than that. Oh, they may have saved their stuff good. They had a good setup tonight. They ran well.
Well, I mean, like I said, you definitely ran well. We were looking at some people playing that, 2-stop, 1-stop strategy. Looked like you guys had the fuel to make it, on 1 stop. And I think probably, I think I'm probably with you, push it, maybe not push it a little bit harder. Maybe come down pit road a couple laps sooner. We definitely would have had I think, a 3-way battle for the win there.
Yeah, I seen them go in. They both went at the same time, and I thought, well, they're a little bit better than me on the longer runs. I thought if I stayed out a couple laps, and then I stayed out a couple more, and then a couple more, I thought, okay, I gotta get in now. But yeah, that gave them a pretty big gap in front of me. That's okay, all good.
I mean, the only way you're ever gonna learn how to do it any better is to, lose to the people making different choices. And I mean, we'd all treat this as a learning experience. Like I said, we talked to you pretty frequently there in that third place, and I think your time up here challenging for these wins regularly week after week, I think it's almost here.
Yeah, I need to run pretty consistent in this spot, but yeah, we'll get them. We'll keep trying to get up there.
Well, I look forward to it. Like I said, I know it's coming, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be a fun season.
Well, fantastic start to your season, John. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, thank the Lucky Dog guys, Brian and Michael, as usual, yourself for putting on the broadcast, and everybody had a good race tonight. So, yeah, that's a good one. Thanks, Brian or William.
Well, thank you, and we hope to talk to you next time.
Sounds good.
And we go ahead and move to our second place finisher, the 777 of Michael Pegg. Michael's with me in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
When you came down pit road before lap 50, I wasn't certain if we had moved back to 100% fuel this evening or not. And then you ran something like 56 laps on 1 tank of fuel. How much gas did you have?
I got six laps left. I got 1.9 gallons left.
Well, I definitely think we moved back to full fuel then. Like I said, I wasn't entirely certain, but
Yeah, it was 18.7 tonight. 18 gallons.
all right. Well, I wasn't certain if what we were running in the recruitment races was what we were going to be running here, but it'll make it easy if we're at 100% fuel. At least for me.
Yeah, it does me too.
So there on that first run, I got to ask, what brought you down pit road that early? Usually when you can run 50 laps, you run 50 laps.
Well, I should have let Jacob was right there, and I wanted him to go by. Then I was going to pit, and instead I thought he would. Instead, he went with me. But I should have went 1 or 2 more laps and let him by, and then ducked in. But I was wanting at least 1 or 2 laps. I was wanting to get a jump on John. John was strong. I knew if I didn't get away from him, he was going to hunt me down. I can't drive these tight setups. I can't even believe I got second tonight. I thought the car split in half. I could hear it like wood every time creaking and rocking every time I'd come through the corner.
And we did notice it finally there towards the end of that second run. I mean, it finally just plowed all the way up to the wall on you. Didn't hurt you too bad.
No, with Don there, and I didn't realize who was there and on the inside, and lap car, I wasn't paying attention, and that's what threw me into the wall. But it was a good run. Hats off to Jacob, man. He drove great tonight. He absolutely incredible. So did John. Jacob, he laid back there and then saved his tires, and when it was time, he came up and closed the deal.
You know, I was looking at how he was running. I mean, I mentioned when you all came down pit road, it's like if he comes down pit road with Michael, he's going to have every advantage in the book. And then I look up and he's 2 seconds back, and I'm like, did he break something? And then in like 10 laps, he caught you. I'm like, oh my goodness, what in the world is happening here?
Yeah, I thought I was gone, and then he just all of a sudden, here he come. But I had a bunch of lap traffic too that was slowing me down that I was having to deal with when I was out there. So having to let those guys by, and then he would catch a 10th and another 10th and another 10th, and then all of a sudden, boom, he just started closing in. You just can't make any more time. I mean, the car's so tight, there's nowhere to make any time. And then I was losing it 3 and 4. I wasn't able to keep it full throttle anymore. That's where he was really gaining me. Is he caught me in 3 and 4 tonight. That's what happened.
Yeah, and that's odd. I mean, 3 and 4 is not usually where you see people making up time. Usually you see them making it up in 1 and 2 because of how difficult 1 and 2 can be.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just pushing up into the wall. I had to lift off, throttle brake to get it to turn. Yeah. Bunch of rear brake buys. Yeah. I'm just glad it's over and glad I got second. Hats off to Jacob, man. What a race.
Yeah, phenomenal race from everybody. I mean, we had a little incident early on. I mean, you expect a little incident there at the start of the season while everyone's still getting back in the groove. And then Lucky Dog, usual rest of it, green flag. It's a lot of fun to watch from up here. Looked like a lot of fun to drive.
I don't know about that. I was wanting to like the truck setup the other night, but it was pretty good.
Well, I mean, you know me in tight cars. I love cars that don't like to turn.
Yeah, well, you'd have smoked us tonight then.
I don't know about that. It's Texas.
I'm just glad Gary didn't show up. Otherwise, I'd been 18th.
You're not wrong. Well, is there anyone you want to thank? Again, fantastic run-up finish. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank all the regulators. I want to thank all the Lucky Dog members, all the Lucky Dog people that watch. I want to thank Lucky Dog Broadcasting. Thank you, William. I want to thank God himself. I want to thank Brian for all the stuff he does. And I want to thank Cash, Molly, Tracy, and Winston.
Well, thank you, Michael, for putting on a good show. And we hope we get to talk to you next time.
All right, thank you, sir.
All righty, and that should take care of us for the evening. I know that we typically do interview our first place driver. Unfortunately, Jacob Edson is not in the TeamSpeak chat. So we're going to take this opportunity here to just go ahead and recognize Jacob Edson. Fantastic drive. I mean, started second row, was pretty quiet pretty much the entire race, just kind of laid back and looked for his opportunity. Stuck right with our race leader, Michael Pegg, for a long stretch of this race. I didn't think that it was a strategy thing. I thought something was broken on that car when he was all, as far back as he was on that second stint. Drove right up to Michael Pegg, drove right past Michael Pegg, and then drove away. And that is, I mean, especially at a track like Texas, that is a hard thing to do. So fantastic drive. Hats off, Jacob Edson. Congratulations on your win, and we hope we get to see you in victory lane again soon. And that's about it for our broadcast this evening. Obviously, we have our short track truck series. I do believe that's what we're doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will have truck series. Our truck series on Thursday season, I do believe, starts this week. So we will have that race. I hope I am able to call it. I'm having computer issues on my main machine, so we are doing a little bit of a backup machine right now. So hopefully everything is going all right. None of my settings are where they're supposed to be. Didn't have a track map tonight, so I'm glad we're able to catch everything we were able to catch. But if I'm able, you will hear from me Thursday. If I don't have my rig fixed by then, I might not be here, but I certainly hope to be. I enjoy being up here in the booth. We'll have our late model stocks on Friday and our Xfinity Super Speedways on Saturday. And then we do it all again on Monday with our Gen 4 Cup Series. So we hope you had fun. I know I had fun. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like what you saw, dislike, comment, and subscribe. If you're indifferent, well, you have, any mixture of the above. Either way, you all have a wonderful evening. And until next time, have a good one.